I want to talk to you also about this controversy with Gina Haspel, who is the nominee for the CIA director. Now, I don't know much about Ms. Haspel other than she's a longtime employee of the CIA. She's liked by both Republican and Democrat appointees over at the CIA. Even Brennan, the horrible CIA director under President Obama, likes her. I won't necessarily hold that against her. So I don't take, I don't have a dog in the fight about her nomination, but I do have a dog in the fight about the truth. And the truth is that the Democrats are attacking her on her alleged support for torture of certain detainees in the days and months and years after 9/11. A, it wasn't torture. B, it wasn't torture. And C, it wasn't torture. And D, Congress was briefed repeatedly and approved of these enhanced interrogation techniques that resulted, according to documents Judicial Watch obtained, in gaining us pretty much half of all the information we were able to gather on al-Qaeda's activities at the time. But we also have the documents showing that people like Nancy Pelosi were briefed on these enhanced interrogation techniques that the left is now trying to mischaracterize as torture. And we had these documents back, it's good, I'm glad I still have a good memory, February 23rd, 2010, 8 years ago. But I don't forget that Nancy Pelosi and other members of Congress were briefed on the so-called torture that they now excoriate those patriotic Americans who are trying to save lives and protect the national security, like poor Gina Haspel here. And the CIA document, it was very convenient because it had a list of all members and staff briefed on the CIA interrogation program. Total members and staff briefed on interrogation program with no EIT discussion, meaning no enhanced interrogation technique discussion, 88. Total members and staff brief on interrogation program, including EITs, 68. And then attached to this document, this is the CIA document, is a list day by day, briefing by briefing, attendee by attendee, of every member of Congress who is briefed on these enhanced interrogation techniques that the left has, after the fact, mischaracterized as torture. So when you hear discussions of torture in this context, you have to remember that the debate about national security, the handling of terrorist detainees, and how they were interrogated is being dominated by advocates for those who want, by advocates for terrorists, meaning advocates for those, advocates for more rights for terrorists. I'm not saying they're terrorists, I'm saying they're advocates for more rights for terrorists. They dominate the debate, and those of us who have a kind of a national security perspective on this that's different are shoveled to the side. You don't have enough Republicans there with enough memory or cojones to confront the left on this. And frankly, the conservatives in our movement and generally haven't really focused on this national security issue and the handling of terrorists. It's an issue which is never going to go away. Well, not going to go away for the foreseeable future, because the war that began in 2001 is continuing 17 years later. And we still run into terrorists, and we still run into situations where we may need to use enhanced interrogation techniques, which have now been mislabeled as torture, but we won't be using them anymore, even if matters of life and limb are at an issue. So the next time you hear torture, Gina Haspel, CIA, and this debate over the next week as the votes occur in the Senate at the committee level and then in the full Senate for the CIA nominee, just remember 68 members of the Senate and the House and their staff were briefed on these EITs, and you can bet not one person raised their hand. In fact, Nancy Pelosi, if I recall, said, "What else can we do for you here?" And I guarantee you Senator Feinstein, who's made a big play by going after Haspel, was also briefed. So Judicial Watch is always on the case. You name it, illegal immigration, national security, transparency, taking on the deep state. Judicial Watch is always doing the heavy lifting because Congress doesn't want to do it, the media doesn't want to do it. And heck, half of the agencies don't know what they are doing because the appointees are too busy trying to stave off the deep state. They can't even focus on issues like this. So it's up to Judicial Watch to educate the American people, which is what our goal is.